All right, this is my man, Neal Schnider.
And this is Navin.
Yeah, can't do my last name, so first name is okay, Neal, that's cool. We are here to talk about the writing process of Chasing Valentine.
So what's the writing process between two guys?
The writing process.
We use email, we talk, we speak the same language.
So we communicate like human beings. So Neal, the beginning, where did this all start?
Yeah, so I met Navin at NARA in Toronto about 5 years ago, and had worked on and off on a few projects with him, and he came to me with an idea a couple years ago. He wanted to do a drama, and I took a look at the concept. I love relationships. There's probably 4 or so relationships crossing paths, and my life is quite dramatic, and felt like I could really contribute to it. So yeah, I mean, that was the inception of it, and
yeah.
And tell me about, I guess, the first draft that you put together.
I guess I met Neal very close to after I finished my first draft. So I was kind of seeking someone to kind of collaborate with, and that's when we met. We had, I remember, it was at some patio in the annex in Toronto that we were having drinks, and we met up, and we had this really cool conversation about relationships and stuff like that, right? And I went home and I'm like, you know what, I'm going to send you the script, check it out, see what you think, and then we'll kind of go from there. And that's kind of where it started, right?
It was awkward. It was a blackout. I don't remember that night, but when I got the script,
that often happens.
I started iterating on it, and basically, I mean, I'm an engineer. Like, I'm all about structure. So the first thing I did was I just looked at it and I thought, how does this actually fit into a good 3-act structure? What's the point of attack? And put together an Excel spreadsheet. I beat it out every relationship and color coded each one to sort of follow it through the stream. I could tell, is the A plot, what percentage of the script is the A plot, and I sort of looked at things that way, got it on paper, and then essentially rewrote it entirely to do a second draft.
Yeah, you kind of burnt my first draft basically and made a second draft, which was great because it was kind of what it needed. I come more from a visual standpoint and more of a overall, when it comes to story, sort of emotion and style. But Neal is basically the guy that I needed in terms of, having someone to come in and just restructure the whole thing. And just make it make sense in terms of a 3-act movie, basically. And that's what happened. So the second draft was great. I mean, what was kind of somewhat challenging about this movie was it started off, my initial idea, which I have somewhere on a napkin actually, is basically the relationship of 4 different couples, so 8 different characters, and how they all sort of intersect somehow. Once Neal came in and we started writing the subsequent drafts, it sort of evolved to something more cinematic, where it made more sense to sort of pull out the 2 characters that were the most interesting and made more sense. So all the other characters sort of became, we actually removed a couple characters and we just sort of focused on the main story. And at this point, I think, it took several drafts, and 2 years later, here we are, finally getting ready to make the movie. So yeah, structure is what this engineer guy brought to this movie, actually.
Thanks. Such a nerd. I think fundamentally what I like about this story is the fact that it's a bunch of characters that are very flawed. They're at places in their lives that they're not entirely happy, but in the same regard, like the whole time you're kind of figuring out, okay, who's the protagonist, who's the antagonist,
I'm sorry, this is sure. Your mic is completely pointing the wrong direction.
But and I think that fundamentally, what I really enjoyed working with was to take these flawed characters and to make, sort of a hero out of the most unlikely heroes, and to add, basically complexity to everybody, including sort of the master antagonist. So I had a lot of fun with this. I love relationships, and yeah, there's a lot of crazy going on in this.
Oh, you self-censored. That's good. Obviously, I want to make a movie that follows structure and that follows, what the cinematic language is. But I didn't want to make a movie that was just your normal kind of traditional, run-of-the-mill relationship movie. I mean, why make something like that when you can make something that's really cool and really, I think it's different. I think it's unique. I think it's something that people are going to watch and really connect with, at various different levels.
Cool.
Great.